There are stars in the southern sky, southward as you go. There is moonlight and
When I get new students who come to Canyon, I always tell them that Canyon is a very accepting and warm school. And I just tell them to smile and that people will kind of gravitate to that. And they come back and tell me that I was right.
I think Canyon High School as a whole is more like a hub for students to become better citizens. We offer lots of opportunities for students to be engaged in clubs and organizations and sports, in addition to taking advanced classes or taking pathway college classes. And so it's almost like a training institution to produce better, more well-rounded citizens of the world.
and I have loved you in a tame way, and I have loved you wild. Sometimes there's a part.
When I came to this valley, I never left it. I went to school and got my degrees, but I used to drive from this valley to Los Angeles. And, we drove on San Fernando Road. That was the major road to go into the city. It was the far west. There are more rattlesnakes and jackrabbits than people. And literally that is true. You couldn't get out your front door or back door without looking down on your step. They were that plentiful. That's ugly, but that is also very valid.
Canyon was kind of in 1968, this was kind of a little island out here. There was a lot of sagebrush and bean fields between here and Hart High School, and it was just this little old community out here that extended out a few homes down in Sand Canyon and Dean Homes, but it was kind of a little island.
Canyon High was sparsely populated, and most areas were open fields. We liked that. And you were identified by the housing tract in which you lived. I mean, you say, where do you live? Oh, I live in Pine Tree, or I live in North Oaks, or I live in Sky Blue, or I live in, etc. And that was it. Every kid knew right kind of where you lived, and that was interesting.
And we built this school, but we built a lot of other schools in the district. Saugus came after this school, and Sierra Vista preceded it. Hart High we built twice because of earthquakes, and went on from there. And it was kind of interesting, but we just didn't do building. We like to say that we were educators.
In 1968 and fall of 68, I think there were somewhere around the vicinity about 750 kids at Canyon in the two classes. It was a sleepy little town. Solid Canyon was 2 lanes, a lot of stop signs, no stop lights around Canyon Country, and we pretty much knew each other. Everybody pretty much knew each other at Canyon High School then.
It was brand new. It was fresh. It was new. It was the Old West. You know, you drive up to Canyon High between Sierra Vista and here, there wasn't much. Open spaces, lots of them, that was it. We used to have a lot of rain out here, and I had students who would get in a boat when it rained a lot and would go all the way from Lang Station Road all the way to Bouquet Canyon Road in a boat when it rained a lot back in those days. And students would brag about it in school the next day.
Well, it was pretty slow, you know. We just getting down Solid Canyon this morning at 7:30 was impossible. And in 1968, getting down Solid Canyon was a breeze. You know, there was no traffic out here. There were very few people that lived out here. There was North Oaks and Sky Blue, those tracts that are around Canyon High School. But basically, it was pretty. The most of the community activity was in Newhall, and Valencia was just sort of a thought. You know, it was just beginning to start building. They'd started building about 65, I think. So a lot of Valencia didn't exist yet, and there were lots of open fields, a lot of carrots and onions grown out here. And I had friends that had horses. People rode. The first mascot at Canyon rode a horse out onto the field. First couple of years we had horses, 2 mascots, 2 horses. I don't know why 2, but we chose 2. And they had on the gold lame suits from Nudies they got for the girls, and that had to stop because they tore the field up when they would ride their horses across the field at halftime. So that lasted a short while.
My first year football coaching here in '68, I said, well, we were having some problems. I said, we got to practice this Saturday. And so we're going to be here at 9 o'clock Saturday morning. We'll practice. Actually, we were down at Sierra Vista because you couldn't practice. There was no fields here. And one of the kids, in fact, several of the kids raised their hands and said, can't be there, Coach, you know. Why not? I said, well, we got Pioneer Days. What? Pioneer Days. They closed down the community, shut up the, block off the roads, parade. Well, what do you parade with? Well, farm animals, horses, cows, people bring their sheep, whatever, down the street. And one of the kids was involved in a burro race, and so he couldn't be there. So we called off the practice. But that's the way the place was. It was very countrified, and kids wore boots. They were cowboys. A lot of them wore boots to school. Not every one of them, but a lot of them.
The purpose of protecting the life of our nation and preserving the liberty of our citizens is to pursue the happiness of our people. The challenge of the next half century is whether we have the wisdom to use that wealth to enrich and elevate our national life and to advance the quality of our American civilization.
Well, it was prevailing nationwide, but especially in California. I saw what was going on there. A lot of protest. Not just young people, but older people. And the country was tired of war, and we had been at war. I had just left Korea. The kids here were on the grass and protesting, and some of the faculty.
They just saw what was happening on television. Other people were protesting. I mean, they felt like that they needed to join in and do the same thing, and so that's what they did.
The biggest deal of all was the Vietnam War, and the kids decided, a lot of them, that they were going to mount some sort of mild protest originally. And in the core area, they took a window and put up relatively innocuous pictures of the Vietnam War as kind of a form of protest. And I remember that the locally elected school board was not very receptive to that. And when they came through here, they almost tore the building down because of what these kids had put up there. They were protesting the war, and that was not acceptable at all. And thank gosh we had a principal who basically said, well, that's what we've got, and we're going to deal with it. And I don't think the world's going to come to an end, and let it work its way out. But yeah. First few years here, there were protests down at the flagpole. They had one young lady who went on to have a very successful life, chained herself to the flagpole, and people were talking about we've got to do more to show that Canyon is not supporting this war. It was very, There was a lot of turmoil on campus.
You know, I remember when we were graduating, the war was still, you know, going on, but they thought it would be coming to a conclusion. And, you know, we were worried for a lot of guys in my class because they were going to be drafted, you know, because they were doing the draft. And then fortunately on April 30th, today's anniversary, 1975, the Vietnam War ended. So a lot of my classmates didn't have to go to the war.
There was a lot of school activities because off campus, like there wasn't a lot of people that went off campus for lunch. So there was a lot of stuff going on at lunch, a lot of fun activities. Donkey basketball, which I don't think donkey basketball has been here in a really long time, but they would bring donkeys to school, and then there would be a game. I think it was the staff against, I don't think it was the basketball team. I don't remember who they played against, but they would actually bring donkeys into the gym and they'd sit on the back of the donkeys and play basketball. I just remember it being really fun. Dances after every home game because there wasn't a lot to do in Santa Clarita at that time. There was the bowling alley on Lyons and the movie theater on Lyons, but other than that, there wasn't a mall. There wasn't really very much to do.
So it was a pretty small town. A lot of people knew everybody. Gosh, we didn't have McDonald's. We didn't have Jack in the Box. We had High Chick Drive-In over on Old San Fernando Road. But we didn't have any of the fast food restaurants that you have now. Just a lot of mom and pop, you know, places, things like that. So it's a great town to grow up in. I loved it. Like I said, you pretty much rode your bike or walked everywhere, you know. So it was a pretty small town. Like I said, it was Saugus High School, or Saugus, California. It wasn't even Canyon Country at the time. So my diploma actually says, you know, of Canyon High School, Saugus, California. You know, Saugus High School, all the area just to the right of the junction wasn't built up at all. So we had the Saugus Speedway, that was probably one of the biggest things. Had the swap, you know, the swap meet still. Out here in Canyon Country, the road, Sierra Highway, was our big junction out here, so Sierra and Soledad. Soledad extended out to Sand Canyon, but all the houses were new out there. Timber Lane, Pine Tree, all those houses were fairly new. You know, they were just building those areas.
When I came here in 1973, we had just gotten into the Foothill League in football. And so that was Burbank, Glendale, Hoover, Burroughs, Crescenta Valley. And they just hated it, having Hart and Canyon in the league, because we were the boonies out here. But we weren't very well thought of by the establishment. And we were never very well thought of by Hart. We were the baby sisters or baby brothers out here.
And then we only had two schools. It was just Hart and Canyon. So that was the big rivalry, you know, Hart Indians, Canyon Cowboys.
The Newhall Signal, how can we say, was kind of leaning towards Hart in a lot of their reporting. I think Dave would remember this, that the first time that Canyon beat Hart in football, the Newhall Signal had a headline that said, "Hart doesn't win." But that was the usual trend.
Sure, yeah. And they expected to win. Canyon, when it started, was obviously brand new, but it was going to try to do things extremely differently. And Canyon was a lot different from Hart. Hart had been here for 20 years, very conservative and was well established in the community. And Canyon was this new place, and there was quite a good rivalry there at the very beginning. It's kind of changed now that we've got so many new high schools. But at that particular time, that was an island over in Newhall and Valencia, an island out here, and a lot of the kids knew each other, but there was definitely a distance between the two, and a little bit of a real rivalry.
You ready to have some fun? Let's do it.
I remember that time, nobody had cell phones, so we all had pagers.
We had pager codes and things like that.
Everybody was still using house phones, so everyone had landlines.
The only way you could call somebody was there was 2 payphones over by the stage outside, and there would be a line to get there and call, and there would be a campus supervisor that would always sit there and make sure that people weren't coming out to use and sneak on the payphones.
Actually, when we all got together, friends were actually talking. Nobody was spending time on their phone, so in a way it was a much simpler time.
I remember dolphin shorts. I remember wedge shoes, which have come back. I remember really tight pants on boys and girls. Just everything was so tight. I remember that for sure.
Being in Canyon Country, we all owned a pair of cowboy boots, so it was popular to wear cowboy boots to school.
Biggest surprise about Canyon was the amount of celebration of like really the cowboy theme. Cowboys was like a big deal back then. I would say the students dressed in Western wear. We have Frontiers Day, and I would say that was really life here at Canyon High School, and it really embodied like the culture of Canyon, because kids really looked like they were into that, and coming from the valley, that was like really surprising for me.
"30 years ago, Canyon Country, there were real live cowboys in Canyon Country. I mean, it was dirt, it was horses, it was not uncommon to see people riding horses up and down your neighborhood, across town. People would go in and out of Howard and Phil's buying cowboy hats, boots, not because it was style, because they needed it. It's still got a little bit of that to it in parts of Canyon Country, but you can see that it's really kind of grown up and tried to kind of hold on to those roots at the same time.
The 80s were a really cool time to be in Canyon Country. Every weekend we would spend our time going to truck runs because everyone at Canyon had a mini truck. A truck run is where all of the guys and the girls would get their mini trucks and we would head out to the dirt somewhere and we would basically show off our trucks.
Well, I think the high school is really woven into the fabric of the community. You go back to the 80s when, even before Santa Clarita was a city, so Canyon Country was almost its own entity.
I think it's definitely a staple of the community. Obviously there are many more schools now in the Santa Clarita Valley, but with Sierra Vista Junior High School leading the way a year or 2 years prior to Canyon opening, and then Canyon being in the center of this small community in a sense. Obviously Santa Clarita has grown over the years, but even 50 years ago it was still a small town feeling, and we still have that now. Even though we're a larger context in the Santa Clarita Valley, Canyon High School has its niche of parents and students who take pride in being a Canyon cowboy, and that's something that we like on the east side of the valley to pride ourselves with.
And that was when we had walk-around registration, way in the old days. Walk-around registration, you'd have to, as a student, come into the gym and walk and hustle to go find your 6 teachers. And if I didn't have space in my class, you couldn't be in my class. My first walk-around registration process was that spring, and I had 2 advanced comp classes. My advanced comp classes filled up first before anybody else's, and teachers around me were going, "Well, what do you do? Do you give them all A's? What's going on there? That's writing. That's a lot of writing. Why do people want to sign up for your class?" So that made me feel validated that I was doing good things.
The community support for the high school has always been there. From the time that I was a kid until now, that we've always have small businesses that want to support the school, and the school wants to support the small business as well. So I think to me, that's the biggest thing. The community itself has really kind of embraced the school, and it's almost synonymous. Canyon Country and Canyon High School are synonymous.
I honestly think that once you're part of Canyon, you feel like family and everyone comes back. We have a ton of people come back for alumni games, just like we have a lot of people come back to teach. And when I was interviewing across the district, this was the #1 place that I wanted to be because it felt like home.
Always talked about choir being a family, and so for me, I came every day to work with my family.
We have a very accepting student population, both in the general education and special education, and the collaboration between the two has been a really unique experience here at Canyon High School.
Honestly, I think it's eclectic and diverse. We have from economic standing to faith or race or, I mean, any kind of demographic. We have such a broad variety, and even though we have that, it doesn't feel like we have all of these subgroups. It feels like we're all the same. And I think that that is an invaluable thing, and as a result, people feel it when they come on our campus and they want to be here. And we don't have that necessarily at other schools.
We all have different hats, but we all come together to really work towards the best interest of the students. And I think that the respect among the staff for each person's specialty really allows for the collaboration that we need to look at the whole student and create an individual program for them to be successful.
Because a lot of people don't leave our town. They want to stay here, and so that family continues to change and evolve over time.
I would say it's I think it's a school that's built on community. I think it's a school built on legacy. I always talk about legacy, and just the community buy-in, it's untouchable, in my honest opinion.
Greatness comes from our community, essentially, and I think that when you come into this program, nothing's really given to you right away. So you have to come and expect to work. And greatness comes from the entire program. Like, I played basketball under Coach Phillips, played football for Goody, and they just teach you how to come in and kick some butt. Just come and punch them in the mouth, figuratively, not literally. Yeah, you just gotta come and show up.
Is in the CIF Southern Section Championship game, and our smallest guy, Anthony Arriaga, he's probably, 5'6" with 2-inch cleats on or something, 130 pounds soaking wet, just, had been working hard all game, took this deep route, and he was wide open. I threw him the ball, and it was like the whole stadium went quiet. And as soon as that little guy caught the ball, came down with it, we were inside the red zone. You could feel the energy and the cheering and the vibrations just down on the field. It was awesome.
Well, at the end of the year, there was this incredible team from Northern California called De La Salle. Literally, movies were made about De La Salle, and De La Salle was going to represent Northern California. We were selected to play in that game, and it was truly an incredible honor to be there.
The greatest thing I think over the years is I've witnessed and observed and even experienced Canyon Athletics is the passion that all the players and the coaches seem to exemplify.
I'm not sure we are going to see a sub 15-minute clocking, but Fleshman here suddenly accelerates. You'd think she was expecting to hear the bell, to see the finish line. Never mind about the bell. That's a vicious acceleration from Fleshman.
I met Lauren. She ran in a junior high track meet, and afterwards I spoke to her and said, are you planning on running? And she said, well, I've never run before, but I'd like to give it a try. She was the #1 freshman in the country freshman year, so I knew I had something special. In fact, the second race she ran for us in a cross-country race, she ran so fast, all the coaches thought our watches had broken during the race.
Brilliant run this from Lauren Fleshman, who's absolutely obliterated the rest of this field through the last 400 meters. The gap behind her is fully 50 meters, and she's opened that up in less than 400.
The year after Lauren graduated, in walked a young lady named Alicia Johnson. She won multiple CIF titles and a state title, and when the Russians get stripped of their medals, she'll be a bronze medalist in the Olympics.
Canyon's one of the oldest high schools out here next to Hart. There's a history to it that makes it unique, so there's a trajectory you can learn about and read, and that makes it fun. People like to be part of things that have a history.
collaborativeness is amazing, and students will reach out to one another when they see each other having a bad day, and because of leadership especially, we know how to interact with other people and how to treat people the way you want to be treated.
Canyon isn't just a town filled with one ethnic group. It is a high school that's filled with a bunch of different people that I got to engage with and get to know.
One of the things that I love about Canyon is how diverse it is. Canyon has the nicest kids in the whole district.
Overall spread of people here, it's like every kind of person here. Like, it's kind of hard, I guess, to be caught alone because there will always be at least like one other person that you can sort of relate with or become friends with.
First of all, I think you have to enjoy working with kids in order to be a teacher. I believe that I have a different experience every single day. No 2 days are the same, and coming to work every day is something a little bit different. I do think that we have a great, diverse student body, and I really do enjoy being able to work with them on a daily basis.
I feel like we build such a big amount of trust with our staff that it literally feels like they're our parents. Especially with our new principal, Shelly Holcomb. I literally saw her yesterday run across campus to go help a student. It's just amazing to see that our staff cares so much about us that they will do anything to make sure we're okay.
I think what sets Canyon apart from other high schools is it's a combination of the faculty and the students.
Canyon is definitely a very safe and welcoming environment. We have a wide variety of programs, so there's definitely something for everyone here. We have amazing arts programs, we have strong athletic departments, we have all kinds of different clubs, like our leadership program, which definitely contributes to the safe environment that I feel we have at Canyon. And I definitely think it is the best campus in the Hart District.
Staff at Canyon High School, as I remember, is a very funny staff. They have a great sense of humor, which again, I think is a characteristic of a healthy school. And so I remember the times just being together with the staff and hearing people crack jokes and laugh with one another. Those are the things that make me smile when I think about Canyon High School.
The faculty here makes me smile as soon as I start thinking about it. The sense of fun, the sense of, and I have to use that word family again, we take this job seriously, but we also understand that it's hard. And so you need to have fun and you need to have a good time. And part of that comes from engaging with the students and engaging with other staff members and being an integral part. We are interwoven into Canyon High School and we love being here. And you can see it just by the students and the staff and the smiles on the faces. It just makes us this incredible, extraordinary place to be.
So it was fun. In the neighborhood, at the CVS, at the movie theater, at restaurants, always being able to run into people from the community. And I think, again, they appreciated the strong school spirit, how they could be proud of their school, and kind of just a sense of community around the school that you don't get at all the schools.
Our student population is amazing, and you see the example of that every day. And I tell people everywhere I go that, and when I'm interviewing people for a position here, I tell them that this is the most respectful, kind-hearted group of students you're ever going to have the privilege of meeting. They will greet you with a smile and a hello, and they're more than willing to help. Those are the types of students that we have that go above and beyond. If somebody drops a notebook, we're not the type of students at Canyon that point and laugh. We're the type that run over there and help them pick that up, dust them off, tell them they're going to have a good day, and send them on their merry way. And they will do that for each other and for their teachers and anybody they meet. I am so proud of the students of Canyon High School, and I'm, like I said, it's just, I'm honored to be here.
This was my last day working as an assistant principal at Canyon High School. And on that particular day, our school was under construction, and we actually, the administration building had been moved to a temporary portable outside. And this taxi cab rolled up to that front entrance area, and it caught on fire. And thankfully I can say this because no one, no one was hurt. But the whole thing was this inferno, and the inferno was kind of blowing toward the admin trailer, and people were bailing out of the trailer. And when it was all put out, because people have a sense of humor, this is just one of those memories that someone took a picture of me standing in front of this burnt out vehicle and saying, "Welcome to Canyon High School." So that's one of the ways that I am able to laugh about our school.
Congratulations, Canyon High School, on 50 years. When you think about half a decade of the students and the families that have come to Canyon, gone through Canyon, graduated from Canyon High School, it's its own legacy. It's its own community. I know personally parents that have gone here and their children have gone here, and I'm sure their grandchildren will make it here next. It's truly something very unique to be able to have that type of legacy in a school this amazing. And I couldn't be more excited to celebrate the 50th year of Canyon High School.
When you are sad and lonely and have no place to go, come to see me, baby, and bring along some dough, and we'll go honky-tonkin', 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 honey, baby. We'll go honky-tonkin' round this town. Sweet mama, and we'll go stepping out, and we'll go honky-tonkin', 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 honey, baby. We'll go honky-tonkin' round this town. If you go to the city, baby, you will find me there, and we'll go honky-tonkin', 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 honey, baby. We'll go honky-tonkin' round this town. We going honky-tonkin', 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 honey, baby. We going honky-tonkin' round this town.